So once all the dosages are being added in the beaker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the next part is going to be the titration. So in the titration we'll be taking 6 conical flask. So in the first conical flask we'll be taking 100 ml of the mixture from beaker number 1. Similarly, in the second conical flask 100 ml of sample will be taken from beaker number 2, similarly 3, similarly 4, similarly 5 and similarly 6. To this we'll be adding pinch of KI crystal and we'll be adding 5 ml of acetic acid. Then we'll be adding 2 to 3 drops of starch indicator. The color changes to blue. We'll be titrating. So once we start the titration, so in the burette we'll be considering the titrant, that is sodium thiosulfate with normality 0.025. So once we start titrating, we'll get to know that the curve we are going to get will be something like N curve. If the sample consists of microorganisms and organic matter. If same test is performed for distilled water, same 999, 990, same, then we may get the curve something like this with an angle of 45 degree. The reason is the distilled water doesn't consist of any organic matter or microorganisms. So from O to A what will happen? The burette reading goes on increasing. From A to B what happens? The burette reading goes on decreasing. It decreases to minimum, and then B to C. So let us say I'll consider the same example. I got, let us say here I got 0.1 ml, here I have got 0.2 ml, got 0.3 ml. So I'll be getting 0.1 ml and 0.25 ml and 0.3. So these are the titrant reading. Now we have to convert this one to residual chlorine concentration in mg per liter. To do that, I will be considering volume of the titrant consumed multiplied by normality of the titrant is 0.025. So multiplied by equivalent weight is 35.45 divided by volume I will be taking is how much? 100. Since it is in ml, I want the value in terms of liters, so that means in 100 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3, so it will come to numerator. So if I go on substituting the values, what will happen? So for the first beaker, I'll get one value. For the second beaker, I'll get third beaker. That means O to A, that means we are going to get 1, 2, 3. That means the third reading, beaker number 3, is going to give me the point A value of residual chloride. So point B value is going to be for beaker number 4. Thereafter it is going to be the superchlorination. That means beaker number 5 and beaker number 6 are going to give me the chlorine dosage values which are beyond breakpoint chlorination. That means 4 mg per liter for the considered case is going to be the dosage of the chlorine at the water treatment plant. So this is what 4 mg per liter of bleaching powder I have considered. Again, we need to convert this particular bleaching powder right into chlorine. This depends on the available chlorine content. So that means the dosage of chlorine is nothing but quantity of bleaching powder applied multiplied by percentage available chlorine. So that will give the applied chlorine value. So that means this graph can be drawn with respect to dosage of the bleaching powder. Later on it can be converted to dosage of the chlorine applied. This can be done by multiplying the percentage available chlorine with bleaching powder dosage to get dosage of the chlorine. So in short, O to A gives the curve which corresponds to chloramine and combined residual chlorine formation. A to B gives the stage where there will be breaking down of free chlorine to chloramines, and where there will be oxidation of organic matter. In the first case, what will happen? There will be usage of the chlorine for disinfecting the water. So initially the chlorine demand will be considered for killing the microorganisms. In the second curve, will be considering it for oxidizing the organic matter. In the third one, this is for superchlorination. So with this, I'll just complete my explanation. Thank you.